channel for Kenya Edwards and Spiceda Jackson. Who am I? I am Spiceda Jackson, the accountant that you love. And today we're talking about home buying and real estate with my favorite real estate broker, Kenya Edwards of the Kenya Edwards Real Estate Group. Hey, hey, hey. All right, we're going to run down the photos so you guys can see what's going on. Yes, there we go. All right, so grab your coffee. This is Business Combos and Coffee. We're doing a nightcap, morning cap. Whenever you watch this replay, we are ready for you. Let's keep running down the pictures, please. I'm just talking through the pictures. And so I'm doing my intro here. So, wealth investing in homes in a tight real estate market with Kenya Edwards, the best strategies to purchase residential property with top real estate agent and associate broker, Kenya Edwards of the Kenya Edwards Group LLC. We are going to bring live to the stage right now Kenya Edwards, owner of Kenya Edwards Group. She is a broker, real estate agent who brokers deals and associate broker who brokers deals that include buying and selling and leasing properties. The company specializes in knowing the current home market trends to provide knowledge and expertise to their clients. Today, Kenya and I are going to talk about building real estate assets to hold. And I like to say to have and to hold. Hey, Kenya, how you doing?
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining me tonight. Now, look, this is Business Combos and Coffee, and we cannot do it if you don't have your cup. You have it?
I have my cup.
All right, let's say hey to the people. And for those of you who are watching us for the first time, my name is Spiceda Jackson. I call myself the accountant that you love. And I am the CEO and founder of X Financial CPA. We do business in the marketplace as Tax Plus 365, and we pride ourselves in helping entrepreneurs and wealth building people pocket more profit so that you can reinvest your money back into your own life so that you can lead to your unlimited life. All right. And so today the topic is wealth investing in homes in a tight real estate market. And I am so excited that you have decided to join me, Kenya.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. It's a great topic to talk about today.
Yeah. So did I cover everything? Tell the people what I didn't say about you in like 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Well, nice to meet everybody. Yes, I'm Kenya Edwards of the Kenya Edwards Group. I'm an associate broker, real estate agent in the Atlanta market and surrounding areas, as well as owner of Realtor Swag Shop at www.realtorswagshop.com. So I'm excited to join y'all and talk about the market and the industry and talk about how y'all can have some generational wealth through land purchase and home purchases.
Yay. So Kenya is also, as you know, if she's, her name, her business is the Kenya Edwards Group. But Kenya breezed by the fact that she has a swag shop for realtors. She also comes from what I call a bloodline of entrepreneurship. So she's in business with her husband and her father, and entrepreneurship is in her blood. And I love to bring awesome entrepreneurs like Kenya to talk on Business Combos and Coffee. And so today, the market is tight, Kenya, right?
It is. Yes.
I'm going to jump right in on the question, right? Okay. Are you really comparing today's market to a couple of years ago? Is it really tough out there finding homes, or is this a myth? Because see, I already have my home. And so I hear from my clients who are trying to get financing on homes, they get the financing, but then they can't find the home, or they may be wanting to do what was known as a 1031 exchange. They may sell a piece of business, or sell a commercial property, or sell a investment property or rental property, and now they don't want to pay taxes on it. And they're like, okay, let me just go exchange and buy another piece of property so I don't have to pay taxes. That's called a 1031 exchange. There is no inventory out there. There are hardly any homes to buy. So is it true?
So I will say there's a little bit of truth to it. So we have been spoiled in this last few years. We've had lots of inventory. We've had great low historical rates. I mean, rates used to be, my parents bought a home, they were 10 to 12, 13% was the interest rate. And we've all seen 2%, 3%, rates within these last few years. And so we had great rates. We had lots of inventory. Things were buying and selling like crazy, but it's starting to slow down. We had COVID hit, which impacted a lot of people's resources and income, and also impacted the market. So now what we're seeing is rates are slowly going up. Inventory is slowing down. So there is less inventory, but there is still inventory. So you can still go and buy a home. Yes, it'll be a little bit of a higher interest rate. But right now, what I like to tell people is, you date the rate, but you marry the house, right? So get the house. You can refinance in a couple of years.
But you marry the house. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes. I heard it somewhere. That's not my line, but somebody said it. Date the rate, marry the house. So that
your line to me.
So we'll claim it today. But yeah, so get the house you want. You can refinance. I mean, just because you get the house today, the value is going to still go up. You'll still be able to be in the place that you want and that you love. But guess what? The rate is going to change. They will change. It's just like the regular markets. They go up and down. And, no, we're not going to have a housing crash, but there is inventory available. Less than before, but inventory. So that's why it's so important for people to have someone who's knowledgeable and experienced in this market, such as myself, a real estate broker who's been through it, who can help them find the right dream house, piece of land, whatever you need, investment property, to get it purchased now, even with slightly higher rates than they've seen before.
So basically what I hear you saying is it's best to get assets in any market, right?
Correct.
And
Yes.
when you're getting the best house, when you get those assets in any market, the best thing that you can do, and you use one of my favorite words, which is experience. You need to get someone with the knowledge and the experience to make sure that you're not only getting a house, but you're getting a house that's going to help you build wealth. Because that's usually one of the first things people buy. Although there's some, talk among finance gurus that say, hey, buying a house isn't necessarily an asset because whatever their reasons are. But for many people, buying a house is their only asset.
Correct. Yes.
And that's how they're able to. Grandmama may have bought the house for $10,000 in an area now that house is now worth $400,000. So, I mean, I beg to argue with anybody who says that buying a house is not an asset. It definitely gives you some cash value later in life if you're able to hold on to your asset and even pass it down to your heirs, right? So one of my questions is, you said also something about the best thing you can do is get someone with knowledge and experience, right?
Yes.
Like, how long have you been doing real estate? And I know you've been doing it since before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we were recession, and so in comparison, what are we heading into, a depression supposedly, or housing? Like, in comparing to all of this, can you give us some like best practices for buying a home? Because it's tight.
Sure. The market is tight. Yes. So I've been in real estate for a little bit over 5 years. So I've seen the ups and downs. There was a crash before, yes, and that was before my time. So, I won't speak to that. However, right now, some tips and tricks to get real estate is, yes, find yourself a licensed, professional, experienced real estate agent and or broker who can talk to you about strategies of how to buy in this market. This market should not scare people. Yes, it is a slower market than we've seen 2, 3, 5 years ago, but does not mean that you can't buy today. So what do you want to do if you're trying to buy in this market? You want to make sure that you have a strong credit score. You want to make sure you can find a realtor who is knowledgeable about the markets in the different areas that you're looking into. They can tell you about the do's and don'ts of buying a home. They can work with you and put you together with a lender if you're financing a home. You can buy a house with cash. So there are different tips and marketing strategies, and also relationships. Real estate is about relationships. So you want to have someone who has realtor contacts in the market that you're looking for, so you can have those great conversations to find you your dream home. But what can you do as a buyer? You want to go buy a house tomorrow. Well, it takes time and planning. This is again why you need a strategic, experienced, knowledgeable agent, because without that experience, you don't want to buy something and then regret it in 6 months. So yes, you can buy a real estate property, hold on to it. It will grow. It will give you cash value over time. It will give you equity over time. So you have grandma's house, and then grandma's house will grow. And so I could tell people build real estate and wealth and generational wealth through purchasing of real estate. If you purchase real estate, it's going to grow over time and have great equity, which is what everybody wants. And this is sometimes the biggest purchase of someone's life. This is a really big deal to buy real estate. You have a lot of first-time homeowners. And so, you want to be thoughtful with that experience. And so people need to think really strategically and plan thoughtfully of how they want to do that. So what do? You find a real estate partner. And it's okay to buy in this market. This market it's still great. It's still a good market. No, we're not heading into a recession. We are heading into a little bit of a slowdown period, but not a recession, because there's still inventory to buy. Rates are going to stabilize, and then everybody will be able to move forward and buy their dream home.
I had someone tell me a story this week. Actually, maybe even, I think it was today. And I've heard this story twice, of someone who was in a home buying market, and they were in the market to purchase construction, right? And then they had the contract on the home, but the developer came to them and said, hey, we're going to rescind your contract. What can a buyer do when that kind of stuff is going on? Do you have any thoughts or recommendations in that?
Yeah, that could be a little tricky. So that has been happening. So with inventory being a little bit lower, the Georgia market has a lot of new construction happening. And so we saw a little of a kind of a trend where builders were kind of competing buyers against one another. So the appraisals were going up really, really high. And once those appraisals came back, there was a gap. And so a buyer would have to pay that gap, or they're going to have to lose their home. And some people were losing their homes, unfortunately, because the builder, who still owns the property and still owns that contract, was killing the contracts because the buyers couldn't pay that gap that was in between. So what does a buyer need to do? The buyer ideally needs to make sure they have some cash, or make sure they have a good exit clause to get out of their contract without losing their earnest money. Because what no one wants to lose is their money on the down payment of a home.
Okay, so they need to make sure they come, have the cash, or rent uncle.
Right, have access to some cash to pay the gap for the home, because if you don't have the cash to pay that gap, they will rescind your contract and they will move forward. They'll give you your money back more than likely, but they will rescind your contract, because once we have that market where it's not ethical, but it's legal, which is different.
Really?
It's not, I don't say it's ethical.
It's not ethical, but it's legal.
It's legal. And it's happened. Okay. And there's some builders out there, I won't say names, but there's a few builders who I've seen it happen, unfortunately. Yes. So what you have to do is be prepared to pay that gap. And some people can't pay that gap.
Or have a good exit clause.
Or have a good exit clause. Yes.
Okay, that's great advice, Kenya. I think that's awesome, because buying in this market, how do people compete with cash buyers? Because this market is full of cash buyers, international buyers with cash who are really just trying to offload cash. You got buyers in the market who just with cash, they either sold their home or one of their investment properties, and they're trying to get anything so that they don't have to pay taxes. So how does a new home buyer compete? How does someone without a lot of cash build wealth? You know, when you're competing. And let me say this, and I know I'm saying a lot at once, but is your equity at risk against these cash buyers?
So there's a couple of things in that. So that's a big loaded question, right?
Mhm.
So what do you do? So yeah, so as we've heard the phrase before, cash is king. That's still
Mhm.
true. Cash is king. However, having a realtor who is supportive and who is knowledgeable is about relationships. So telling your story. So I've definitely have won out some great homes over cash buyers because having a conversation with the agent, you're having a conversation with the seller to let them know, hey, I have a great buyer who's going to bring, love and a great family to the neighborhood. They really want to be here. They have a great school district. So you sell the story of the family moving into this home. And sometimes the sellers will take that. But then sometimes you have sellers who want the money. They don't want to hear a story. They don't want to hear it. They want the money. So you do a little extra shopping, but the story sometimes will win out over the cash buyers because yes,
I
investors
totally
are
agree with
a
that.
full force. There's a lot of cash, but you have to sell the story. So what is that story? And so realtors are also storytellers sometimes as well. Not bad, but we have to help sell their story. Yeah. And so
I
then
have a
with that
great
as
story
well,
about that, Kenya.
you have a good story about that.
I have a great story about that. In my own experience, I have sold a house in the last 5 years, and I've also purchased a house in the last 5 years, and purchased a piece of real estate property. So
Mhm.
I will say, in us selling our home, the young lady ended up being a cash buyer, but she wasn't truly a cash buyer. She basically, in order to compete in the market,
Mhm.
she paired with a company that upfront the cash for her. And
Yes.
so we went with her because number one, yes, we liked her story, but also we didn't have to jump over all the hurdles of traditional financing with her. But I wasn't of the mindset to just sell to an investor.
Right.
So I love the fact that she came in with that double-edged sword. And then
Mhm.
on the other side of it, we actually got our home on a story.
Right. Right.
And not on a story because it was true, but like, my home is not far from my office. I do everything in historic College Park. I live, I work, I play, I go to church. And so when we found our home, it was really a place where we loved. And
Right.
our seller, he actually came and visited the house a couple of times. I know
Mhm.
he loved the house too, obviously,
Right.
but he told me on a couple of occasions that the reason why he went with our house, because they had a higher offer, was
Mm.
because of the story.
Yes.
That I told him, I was like, look, I'm not trying to get you down on price, but this is the highest that we can offer you on this home. And this is my story. It's like 8 blocks from my office. And literally, there's no more truth. There's so much truth in you stating that telling the story can
Right.
help you win the home of your dreams.
And it's true. I mean, you have to find a way to differentiate yourself. All offers have this similar background on similar Georgia contract forms. So, how do you sell the story? And sometimes people will write letters, and there can be some rules against writing letters with your contracts. But that's where having the one-on-one conversation with the other agent to share and inform somebody and say, hey, this is what my family's story is. This is what my client's story is. And there's truth behind it. And no, they're not an investor. They want to be in the neighborhood. They want to go to the school district. They want to walk in the neighborhood. They want to go to the local stores or near grandma's house, whatever the story is. Share that story, build that relationship with the other agent because it makes a big difference. Once you can humanize
Mhm.
a contract and an offer, it makes a difference because we are all humans at heart. And sometimes it makes a difference, sometimes it does not, but majority of the time it truly does. And so that's why it's important for agents and new homeowners to have a good relationship. You need to really know each other and work together. And so you
Mhm.
can get the home of your dreams after some great conversations, and sometimes went out and beat a cash offer, because cash offers aren't always the best. And your offer, like yours and your personal story, may not be the highest offer, but it's the best story.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this: in this, and I know that we've been talking about the market and how the market can be tough, but what are some of the things that you would recommend for a buyer, whether it's their personal home, or you help people, buy homes to lease, you help people lease their homes? What can a person do from your perspective as a realtor and an agent, associate broker, to best prepare to buy? I have my tips, but I'm interested in to know, what do you think people should come to the table with?
So when preparing to buy a home, you want to make sure that you have low debt to income ratio. Make sure that your credit is in good shape. And so the higher your credit score, the more better chance you're going to have a lower interest rate. There are programs from 500 credit score up to, way above 500 credit score. But the better credit score that you have, if you're not paying cash, allows you to have better offerings and offer programs from a variety of lenders. And think about, what area of town do you want to be in? What type of home do you want to be in? Prepare yourself and really think about these items, because once you do, it'll help your agent and your realtor have a better understanding of what market and what areas to provide for you homes for. So as a new home buyer, make sure as well that you're not overspending. Make sure that you don't go buy, once you're approved, go buy a new car. Make sure you don't spend crazy money, because that could affect your loan approval. So once you get your loan approval, make sure that you are shopping within your 90 days, so you don't have to get approved for another loan. So again, make sure your credit is in great shape. Look for a strong neighborhood, that your desired neighborhood, and what that looks like. What do you want in a home? And then make sure you communicate with your lender effectively and plan to find a home. So if you want to buy a home in 90 days, in 120 days, get an agent immediately, as well as speak to a lender about what tips and tricks you can prepare yourself to buy the perfect home.
All right. So I love that. I love that. Hold on. I'm right here. I'm putting all this stuff in the chat so that people can have it. So, and you did a perfect rundown of it all. So from my perspective, what I see is, I've had like you can, credit score is big, but I have a recent story of a client, that an entrepreneur that we have worked with, and maybe I could get him to come. I'm not going to say who it is, but maybe I could get him to come and even tell his story. But he didn't have like the highest credit score, right? But he was diligent and undeniable. So I think that when you're in this home market, one of the best characteristics you can have as a buyer is be persistent, undeniable, and don't give up. Go to the market with exactly what you want. Just like Kenya said, know exactly how much you can afford and you want to spend. And one of the biggest things, and with that, is sometimes you may be working with a loan officer who doesn't know you, right? And you mentioned having a great relationship with your lender and having those conversations. I believe that people should understand their personal financial situation, because in this market, you can be working with a novice loan officer who deny you for your loan that you qualify for. 100%. How do I know? Because the financial person, y'all know I go live, I got experience in this. We were denied that my dream home. The lender denied our loan. Now, I didn't think my loan was denied. She said denied, but I wasn't listening. I didn't hear. I didn't hear not approved. So, because the reason why is because, number one, I knew what I wanted. Right. Number two, just what you're saying, I knew what I could afford. And number three, I had already underwritten my loan. Okay. And so one of the downloads that I'm going to offer, and I've just decided this, because I have this collateral, and I don't have it prepared tonight. So you guys are going to to our website and I will have it there for you. So we do this replay will be on my website.
Okay.
When this replay hits my website, if you're watching this on replay or check our website over the weekend, I'm going to give you the things that you can do to underwrite your own home loan, how to calculate your debt to income ratio, how to determine if you can afford the home, right? And from there, if you like, I will give you guys a special discount to work with us for us to look at your tax returns to tell you what your tax returns are saying about you and why the bank could possibly be telling you no, especially as an entrepreneur, right?
Mm-hmm.
So listen, I pre-wrote my loan, right? The lady said no, Kenya.
Wow.
I was like, oh, she don't mean no. She just mean like, I don't know. That's like a yes turned upside down.
It wasn't a no. It wasn't a no.
And I was just like, I knew, God had spoke to me. This was my house. I just didn't hear the no, but it was a real no. And so it wasn't until I got the letter. And she was saying, oh no, it's a no. And actually I hadn't gotten the letter. I was like, no, something can't be right. So I literally had to have the loan officer tell me my debt to income ratio in her system.
Yes.
Her debt to income ratio was incorrect.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
She had the wrong number. That was my first red flag. Okay. I had already calculated that. In the guide that I will provide to you, I'm going to teach you guys how to calculate your debt to income ratio, because that is, I believe, the number one reason why people get denied for loans. The number two reason why people get denied for loans is they're told they can't afford the house that they're trying to buy. Right. So I'm also going to allow you to calculate how much income the bank believes you can afford based on the income that you're reporting. I will give you my trick to that in my free download. And that's what I can offer, right? King is giving you the tips on how to get your offer approved. And I just gave you a few tips, and I'm going to offer you a free download on how to get the bank to say yes. First, you got to get the seller to say yes. Then you got to get the bank to say yes. And then you can get the keys to your house.
Yes. You have to get that loan approval. So we have to make sure they understand and they have the information that you're going to provide about their debt to income ratio. That is so critical, so important. So yes, your tips and tricks are going to help people. And once they understand that and they get that loan approval, then we go shopping. We go find them that dream home. Yes, and get their offer selected. So it's definitely a process, but it's a great process. And then you have your dream home and have wonderful stories to share. So yes, great information.
So don't get to the closing table or don't get to the end, because I have a lot of Hail Marys that we have to throw. You say have an experienced real estate agent. I say have an experienced accountant that can help you. Okay. I'm going to grab this testimonial because I have so many clients that I've helped purchase property, purchase homes that the bank was trying to tell them no. And it was simply because, just like you got to tell the story about why you deserve the house, you got to tell the bank the story of why you can afford the house.
Of course. Yes.
Okay. Buyers have it tough, and we even have it tougher as buyers in this market with lower inventory. So you don't want to be dragging your seller out, because your seller could be like, well, dang, maybe I picked the wrong buyer, and they could go with the buyer number 2 on the list. You may have been buyer number 1, but because you didn't make the time period, the 21 days, what's it called? Like, that period.
The financing contingency.
Yeah, you might drop the ball. You might fumble on the financing contingency. You don't want to do that. You want to get an expert realtor. You want to get an expert accountant. Laura, let's change that background out. Put the ask my accountant in the back. This home buying, ask my accountant. Throw Kenya up there. Like, we need to show our pictures together, Kenya, because they need to be asking and working with experts in this process to ensure that you win. Okay,
100%.
experts
Yes.
help you win in the home buying market. So, Kenya, tell them how they can reach you. So they can get an expert realtor, and I will close this out on how they can reach me. And I mean, did we miss anything? Because I said, what are the taxes on selling your home or the property? We're not gonna get into that, y'all. We'll come back another time. We'll talk about that because we're at 30 minutes, and I don't want to bore people. Unless, I mean, can you think it's worth talking about, or you want to come back another time?
No, I think because we can talk part 2. Let's do a part 2 next time. And we'll talk about
Yay!
tax.
King is
Yes,
committed to
part
coming
2.
back. King is committed to
come
coming
back.
back. Okay, yay! So, Kenya, tell them how they can reach you so that they can get an expert real estate agent and broker.
Yeah. So again, thank you for having me tonight, Kenya Edwards. You can reach me at www.kenyaedwards.com, on Instagram at Kenya the Broker, or send me an email, Kenya. Oh, what's my name? Kenya at kenyaedwards.com, or give me a call, 404-316-1042. So again, it was a pleasure speaking with you tonight. I look forward to talking to everybody. If you have a question about buying, selling, or renting a home, give me a call. And also go shopping on my website, realtorswagshop.com. Has some great merchandise for the realtors out there. Get your swag, take to the closing table. It was a pleasure. Thank you guys so much.
Yay! So this has been Home Buying and Real Estate with Kenya Edwards. Now look, we go live every Friday. So if you're watching this on Kenya's page, you can join me every Friday for Business Combos and Coffee. As a matter of fact, we'll be replaying this live on Business Combos and Coffee. And I have these types of conversations every Friday with an expert in their field, because I believe that entrepreneurs and wealth building people just like you need to be working with experts so that you can be buying assets that you can get quick equity in, so that you can build generational wealth, and so that you can win your deal, especially in this real estate market. So what I got coming up for you is I want you to go to our website and get this free download that we are offering you with all of the tips from today. You can download that, and you can work with me live by joining my next Pocket More Profit Bootcamp. What happens at the bootcamp? I help you get ready for the bank to say yes, get you the financials you need, the taxes you need, and answer every question that you need. As an entrepreneur, I coach you through keeping more of your profit. And our next Pocket More Profit Bootcamp starts July 25th. You can go to our website, register, and I'll see you there. I also have an in-person opportunity for you guys to work with me and meet me in Tulum, October 7th through the 10th, 2022, for the Wealth and Wellness Experience, which is going down in Mexico. Y'all see them pictures? Y'all come and join the Wealth and Wellness Experience. We will be talking more about real estate investing. I have myself be there. My host, Ebony Lucas, she's a real estate attorney. And we have Chrisette Michelle, who will be there and in the room. Kenya, I hope you will be there to join us. It's all the way in October. You got a couple of months to be there. But that's what I have for y'all, guys. I am Spiceda Jackson, the accountant that you love. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel. But until next time, don't forget to move your profit in the right direction. And that's what's up. And if you want to work with us, go to exponentialcpa.com. We love entrepreneurs who want to pocket more profit, increase their assets, and live and lead towards their unlimited life. I'll see y'all next time. Bye. Be a deacon.
You got a business church.
We go, hey, get your business.